Let's go deeper, everyone. How does it change your view on cancer to realize that it cannot arise unless both your brain and 25 epigenetic switches have been misprogrammed over time? How are you going to look at it different now? Looking back over your life, where can you see signs that your brain was living in survival mode, in fear, in hurry, overthinking, and over-controlling, long before any diagnosis, long before you felt any imbalance in your body? How does knowing that chemotherapy, radiation, and immunotherapy can shrink tumors wonderfully, but also, at the same time, worsen the DNA repair, the detox, the inflammation, metabolism, the digestion, the immunity, the autophagy, and the mitochondria? Wouldn't that not make you think that if I'm going to do standard care, and that saves lives, but wouldn't I want to do something to not only kill cancer, but also make an environment in my brain and in my epigenetics, in my genes, and the environment that I'm making in the body that supports healing, everyone? Have you or someone you know that's close to you experienced chemotherapy or conventional therapy and experienced the chemo brain, or cognitive emotional changes after the treatment? How might this reflect deeper disruption in the 12 brain region flow? If two patients can have the same type, stage, and grade of cancer, yet completely different brain patterns and 25 epigenetic switch codes, what does that say about the limit of one-size-fits-all treatment? What would it look like in your own journey to not only fight cancer, but heal the terrain, the brain, the epigenetics, and the lifestyle, so cancer can truly no longer live there? It just can't live in that environment. We want you to really ponder this. What would it look like in your own journey to not only fight cancer, but to heal, to change the environment in the brain, in the genes, in the diet, in the lifestyle, in how the brain is programmed, and program the whole system for healing, true healing? Which of the 7 domains of the 25 epigenetic switches, the DNA repair, the detox, the inflammation, the diet and metabolism, the immune surveillance, the autophagy, and the mitochondria energy, which one do you sense has been most under strain in your life? What clues has your body already given you? Are you tired? Does your body have pain? These are all messages from imbalance. And how might your daily choices, what you eat, how you breathe, how you move, how you sleep, what you think on, what you believe, be flipping your 25 epigenetic switches right now, either toward disease or towards healing? And if you knew that your brain and epigenetic code could be genuinely reprogrammed, what fear would you want to release? And what single new healing habit would you want to embrace most? And are you willing to see yourself not as a victim of bad cells, but as a conductor learning to retune your brain and your 25 epigenetic switches in your terrain, your environment, to a new symphony of flow, of total health, of balance, harmony, of longevity? And if enzymes must run at extreme speeds to sustain life, where do you see signs of backup reactions? Are you having fatigue, inflammation, brain fog, slow recovery, food reactivity? And if your body really is this assembly line, what might be your slowest worker right now? Do you think it's detox? Do you think it's energy? Do you think it's digestion? Do you think it's inflammation? Do you think it's toxicity? What do you think it is? And are you trying to fix your problem, your disease, your downstream symptoms, while you're not addressing the brain, the gut, and the malabsorption and the food choices? And when you eat, do you feel tired after you eat, or more alive and energized? What does that reveal about your digestion and absorption? What does it reveal about your food choices? And are you primarily feeding your cells with living raw biological energy and signaling genetic and epigenetic patterns? Or mostly feeding them heat-altered and processed foods, inflammers, oxidizers, glycators? And if leaky gut, which is popping holes in the intestinal lining, leads to leaky brain, how would that change your daily focus on reducing inflammation and not chasing symptoms, but looking at the cause and not the effect? Which is more true for you? I am eating enough, or I am absorbing enough? How would your results change if you only measured, am I absorbing enough? Most Americans eat a lot of food, but the food isn't the best choices, and they're really not absorbing the essential nutrients, and the food might not even have the essential nutrients. And if your genes are not bad, but just slow, how are you going to approach your health? Will you remove body parts? Will you just say, I'm doomed with slow genes? Or will you now look at a way to speed up the slow genes, to speed up the slow enzymes? And what small daily change right now would move you one step up higher on eating the healthier foods? More living foods, microgreens, sprouts, more raw produce, fewer cooked processed inputs. What can you do today? And if every day is either building or healing terrain or building a survival terrain, a healing environment or survival environment, what terrain are your daily choices training you to live in? Repair or adaptation? Are your cells living in running from the lion or resting, digesting, and healing? Remember, everyone, you have the choice. You have the free will choice to change your life. If you have a diagnosis of cancer, that's just a wake-up call. That's all it is, a wake-up call to go deeper. Obviously, to stop doing what you've been doing and investigate something new, something deeper. It's not a call just to do conventional therapy. Conventional therapy will help tremendously, but it does not change the environment in the body. It does not positively influence the brain, which is the major signaling organ, and it does not positively influence the epigenetic switches, the genes, and the enzymes made by those genes. It negatively affects both those areas. That is never a problem, but now it's time to go deeper. Everyone, it's time to get healthy. So if you're doing conventional therapy, then it is time to add healing to that therapy so you address the brain, the genes, the enzymes, and every cell in your body. It's time to heal. It's time to be in total health of body, brain, mind, and heart.